What's going on, America? This is Kevin from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make sense out of nonsense. Wait a minute. Somebody's riding by. Cars ride by with the booming system. Cars ride by with the booming system. Anyway, now that debacle's over, trying to make sense out of this nonsense. So now, the Dems, they're working on 50 ways to impeach the POTUS. Just make up some crap, Jack. I mean, they are gunning for the POTUS, okay? Now, here's the crazy part. They're getting on TV, and they're trying to make it seem like this isn't partisan. No, we're just looking out for the Constitution. Nancy Pelosi, she makes all these remarks like, you know, the POTUS failed to hold up his constitutional duties, and I'm thinking, what are you talking about? And protect our national security. None of that call that they're talking about with the Ukraine has anything to do with national security. It has something to do with corruption that most likely stem from the Democratic Party, but nothing has to do with national security, the Constitution, none of that. They're trying to make it seem like that somehow President Trump, when he was referring to the server and he was referring to Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and the prosecutor getting fired because of Joe Biden, they're trying to make it seem like that has something to do with him trying to stop Joe Biden from running against him. I guess they interpreted this conversation as oppositional research. I question that theory, because in no context did the president in that conversation, which I did read, have anything to do with, hey, look, I got a tough election coming up. Most likely it's going to be against Joe Biden. And he's a tough candidate, even though he can't remember his own name sometime. And I'm a little worried. Can you do me a solid? Can you go dig up some information on Joe Biden and his son and get it back to me? No, he didn't have to say dig up anything. Joe Biden gave all of the evidence right there when he got on TV and said, that's right, I sure enough told them that they better fire that prosecutor within an hour. And or if we're getting back on the plane, you won't get that $1 billion. That right there is the evidence. Trump never said go dig up something. He said, look at what we already have. Joe Biden delivered that on a gift right there. Here you go, right there on a platter. So they're trying to make it seem like Donald Trump was trying to encourage Ukraine to go and find dirt when the dirt was right there. See, the Democrats leave their dirt laying around. They're not even smooth with the dirt. They just leave it all around, breaking blackberries. What? There's nothing to see here. You know, acid washing servers. These are things that anybody with some brains would say, wait a minute, having your son work on sit on a board of a company that you're actually involved with as a vice president. You know, you're over, I guess, energy and all that stuff was going on over there. And then your son sits on their board and makes 50 grand a month. Nothing to see here. Nothing looks suspicious or nefarious. No, And for Trump to ask about that in the context of corruption that's going on, he can't do that. Now, if you can't do that as the president when you might smell a rat, if you can't do that as the attorney general or anybody, I guess that would put former Vice President Biden in a category of, you know, above the law. I mean, no matter what it looks like, you can't question that. So that means this man could have killed somebody over there. And if you ask about it while he's running against President Trump, then obviously you're not asking because you really want to know and get to the bottom of corruption. It's because you want to stop him and do oppositional research. And so Pencil Neck Schiff gets up yesterday and he tells a wild story. He embellishes, he infers and transposes the conversation and gives his own interpretation of what was going on. Basically, so here's what I think he said. Listen here, we do a lot for your company and you better find some dirt on my opponent, and if you don't, then whatever. So he goes through this whole fairy tale of what his translation is concerning the president in that conversation, which the liberal media ignored because Adam Schiff, once he got called on it, he wrote it off like, I was just joking, man. It was just, look, you thought I was trying to, you know, that's like you get caught and then you just say I was joking as a default. You know, you make improper comment at the job for a lady. Hey, baby, you got a big butt. She's like, what? What'd you just say? What? No, I was just joking. I ain't mean like a big butt like your butt. You know, I meant like contrary to something else. You know, you always got a big butt, but you know, and contrary to something else. I wasn't talking about not that, but see. So when you defer to that as an afterthought, and you come up with I was just playing. Nah, you wasn't just playing. You wanted to send out the message to the United States that President Trump got on there and did something creepy and sleepy and slimy like Sloppy Joe. And that's not what happened. But here's what's hilarious. They're asking these Democrats now, hey, if you were the president, would you let your vice president's son sit on the board of a foreign country? And they're like, oh, shoot. Elizabeth Warren, if you get a chance, check her out. She was like, first, she didn't tie it together, see. The brain on Elizabeth wasn't working quick enough to see the setup question because, you know, the Democrats stick together. You're not allowed to actually say that what someone in your party did was wrong, okay? So when the person asked her, she was like, no, absolutely. I mean, wait a minute. It depends. I got to go back and look at the information. And I'm thinking, no. You first said no, emphatically, no. And then it was like, oh, shoot. If I say no to that, then they're going to say, then why aren't you criticizing former Vice President Biden about his son doing it? So now she had to walk it back, talking about, I got to look at the facts and this and that. So basically what she's saying is, I'm unsure about whether that behavior would seem shady or not. I need more evidence to see if that looks a little crooked. And then let me look at it and I'll get back with you. It's kind of like Kamala Harris when she was on the Jussie Smollett kick, you know, supporting Smollett and all of his shenanigans. And then when they told her about all the new evidence came out, she's like, I haven't heard anything about it. I gotta research it. I gotta go look at. See, that's what they do. They can't just come out and say, absolutely not. Or what? He faked a hate crime? That's horrible. But when something comes out that can damage the president or make him look bad, there isn't, let me look into the evidence. It's immediately, you know what? This is the rhetoric of Trump, or Trump's violating all this. Yeah, they will jump and ask questions later when a storyline comes out that would damage the president. But when a storyline comes out that hurts their side, oh, well, we just going to take our time and relax and look into it. When that darn, what's his name? Keith Ellison up there, when that story came out, no jumping on that. No Me Too. None of that stuff. Is where we're taking that in consideration. We're going to have to find out and get all the evidence and the facts to come out, and we'll look at it later and see how it works out. But then when the bootleg stories about Kavanaugh came out, immediately, have you heard about Kavanaugh and the stories about maybe him being improper 35 years ago with him? That is horrible. This man needs to step down right now. See, it goes to show they're the party of hypocrisy. And the fact that they are trying to impeach the president and lying about it and saying that, no, it has nothing to do with just us hating him. This is how you know it does, because they're celebrating. The one guy gets on TV, they ask him about it. He's like, Donald Trump's going to choke on this nothing burger. This is going to be the one that gets lodged in his esophagus. That's what's going to... No. See, that's showing it's personal. See, when somebody isn't doing something personal, they don't get excited about it. It's just like, hey, this ain't personal, man. I'm doing this because this is what the facts show. But these guys are getting excited. They had a little booth with the four, I think it was 3 out of the squad. There was only 3 of them. But they up there with the big sign in front, impeach, and they celebrating it. We're finally gonna do it. That means you're not trying to sit back, look at the evidence. You already have a predetermined outcome. That's what that means. That means, you know what? We're going to impeach and then fill in the blanks as we get there. And so for them to try to downplay that, when they start yelling impeachment before he ever did his inauguration, it's so disingenuous. It's unbelievable that they can even fix their lips to say, nah, man, they done tried everything to impeach him. Stormy Daniels, nah, he made a payment. Stormy Daniels, tax returns. Oh, boy, what else? Emoluments, Sharpie Gate. Oh, he just says bad things. He's mean to people sometimes. All of this, Russia collusion, delusion, all of this. And we're supposed to expect that this latest effort is in good favor. Well, we're just doing this. I mean, up until this point, we didn't even think about impeaching him. This right here just fell in our lap, and what are you going to do? I mean, you got to go through with it. I mean, if we don't, we won't be doing our constitutional duty. Yeah. Well, their constitutional duty is to do real oversight, not make up stuff, not go on witch hunts, and also do legislation. Where's that? When the last time they put a bill up? And here's their excuse. Well, everything we put up, Mitch McConnell just shot down. Well, because you put up stupid bills. Yeah, when you start throwing up bills like, well, we need to protect transgender women so they can run in races with females and compete against them. That's not a good bill. When you start just throwing up garbage up against the wall and your bills get shot down, don't whine about it. You know, you're not doing stuff that really helps America, though. Nothing. All you're doing is just saying we're just going to throw some slop up, but the rest of our time is going to be spent chasing Donald Trump around like meat. That's what they're doing. And then in 2020, they're going to get blasted, and we're going to have a great time laughing at them. It's if you think they're going crazy right now, wait until they lose in 2020. And then they ain't going to even stop for a second to wonder, what did we do wrong? I don't understand what we did wrong. Because they're not learning from their mistakes. Anyway, you've been listening to Kevin and Kevin's Corner. Don't forget, check me out every Wednesday night, 7:30 live on my YouTube channel. And also on, what else? Radio Blog Talk Show. Don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, and the notification button. You can find me on Facebook, the Twitter. And if you want to donate to Kevin and Kevin's Corner, there's a link at the bottom of this video to do that. And then finally, let's see, check out Extreme Tees. If you like what they got, put my name in the promo code, Kevin. You'll get a 20% discount. All right. And I will catch y'all next time in Kevin's Corner. 50 ways to impeach the POTUS. Just make up some crap, Jack. Holler at y'all later.